In the heart of Independence Layout, Enugu, there was once a name that caused men to forget their paths and women to clench their boyfriends tighter. Vanessa Okoye, tall, fair, slender waist that danced in every rapper. Her dimples were as sharp as her tongue. She didn't walk, she floated. Her laughter, loud, commanding, seductive. Her confidence, unshakable. At 24, Vanessa had more suitors than a politician had enemies. Her compound in Achara layout was like a boys' hostel. Every weekend, flower boys, musicians, engineers, doctors, even struggling lecturers, all coming with one mission, to win her heart. But Vanessa had a rule: only the best or nothing. "Abuka, you again," she had said one day, hands on her hips, standing in front of the gate like a queen. "I've told you I can't marry a pharmacist who still shares a shop with his uncle. Go and make money first." Abuka, with pain in his eyes and an envelope of love poems in his hand, had smiled awkwardly. "Vanessa, love isn't about how much I earn now. Give me time." She had scoffed and pointed at the gate. "Time? My time is for rich men. I didn't graduate from UNN to become the wife of a chemist." He left without another word. She had so many like him, suitors who came with genuine love, honest intentions, and manageable futures. But Vanessa was focused on packaging. She wanted a husband who drove a Benz, lived in Gulf Estate, and wore perfume that smelled like dollars. Love? That was for hungry people. She and her friends would gather at her boutique, sip wine, and laugh about the latest low-budget suitor. "That one came with a second-hand Prado," Vanessa would say, rolling her eyes. "Please, I'm not a village girl." But deep down, there was a reason behind her pride. Her mother, Mama Vanessa, had married young to her poor father, who died early and left her with 3 children and a tray of roasted groundnuts. Vanessa had seen struggle firsthand and vowed never to repeat her mother's mistakes. "Poverty is ugly," she often said, "and I'm too fine for it." At 26, she rejected Kalechi, a civil servant who brought his parents for formal introduction. She refused to even come out of the room. Her brother Junior had begged her, "Nail, Kalechi is decent. He works with FRSC, he has land in Suka, and he truly loves you." Vanessa's reply was loud and final. "He wears Bata shoes and uses a technophone. I can't be his trophy wife looking like this." The problem wasn't that Vanessa lacked suitors. It was that none of them could satisfy her unspoken hunger to escape her mother's past. And so, she waited. At 28, she was still waiting. But something had started to change. A silent, creeping thing. Her name no longer echoed like before. The flowers at her gate reduced. The men became fewer. Her friends, the same ones who laughed with her, were getting married, pregnant, or divorced. Even Amanda, her younger sister, was engaged to a mechanic. But Vanessa stood tall, proud. "I'll marry when I'm ready, and it will shake this town." Yet on some nights, she lay on her imported bed, staring at her white ceiling, asking questions she would never voice aloud. Why did Abuka stop calling? Did Kalechi finally marry that nurse? Is it true that the girl I used to mock in school just had her second baby? She pushed those thoughts away with soft music and her skincare routine. After all, age was just a number, and beauty, she still had that in full supply. But time was not waiting. And deep in her heart, something had begun to whisper. What if this Enugu is a hindrance to me getting my dream man? And with that thought, she made plans and relocated to Abuja. The undeniable beauty got men frolicking over her again. There were many suitors, Good men, educated men, God-fearing men. But Vanessa had an invisible checklist. He called my Hermes bag Hermes. Instant turnoff. He said he wants 5 kids. What am I, a rabbit? His cologne gave me a migraine. Her friends envied her confidence. Her mother, on the other hand, always said, "The moon never shines forever. Choose your sunset before it chooses you." Vanessa only smirked. "I'll marry when I feel like it. Period." Vanessa didn't just reject men. She destroyed them. The night of her 29th birthday party at the presidential suite of Hotel Presidential, decorated with gold-draped tables, champagne towers, and hired saxophonists, a man knelt in front of her with a diamond ring from Wusei too. His name was Michael Akofer, a handsome, mild-mannered real estate developer. He had been dating Vanessa for 8 months. Everyone assumed he was the one. Everyone, except Vanessa. As the crowd cheered and cameras flashed, Michael poured his heart out. "Vanessa, you're the rhythm in my silence, the moonlight in my darkness. Will you marry me?" She smiled, took the ring, then she took the mic. "Aw, Mike, that was cute. But I can't marry a man who still drives a Lexus 330. Try again in 3 years." The crowd froze. She handed him the mic back like trash and turned to DJ Spicy, yelling, "Play something better, I beg. Let's dance." The music came on. Everyone laughed nervously. Michael stood up slowly, humiliated beyond words. Her best friend Nina pulled her aside. "Babe, what was that?" Vanessa sipped her champagne. "If I wanted to settle, I'd marry a banker. I want a baller. Dubai weekends. Milan shopping. Not chicken suya at Genesis." That night, the videos went viral. The slap wasn't physical. It was digital, emotional, and public. Michael deactivated all social media. Vanessa trended on Twitter with hashtags like #Queen Vanessa no to broke proposals, #level matters. The comments were a mix of awe and alarm. "This babe no get filter oh. Why do men still try with her? Vanessa is a menace, and I love it." By the next morning, 3 men had blocked her. 2 withdrew proposal plans. 1 sent her a bill for all the flights and dinners he had sponsored. She posted on her IG story, "Let them block. My husband is not in Nigeria anyway." What she didn't know was that she had just closed her own door to true love. The kind of door that, once slammed with that much pride, only life itself could kick back open, and not without a cost. Years later, when her name would be whispered, not in admiration, but in pity, people would say, "It all started that night, when she made a joke out of love, and life turned her into one." Vanessa believed that loyalty was for the weak, but Nina, she believed in Vanessa. For years, Nina had trailed behind her like a loyal shadow, fixing her makeup before events, taking her Instagram pictures, carrying her second phone, even defending her ruthless decisions in public. But deep down, Nina had a secret. She was in love with Michael. And unlike Vanessa, Nina didn't want Milan. She wanted peace, love, the kind Michael gave and Vanessa scorned. 3 months after the slap heard around Abuja, Vanessa hosted a soft life Sunday girls brunch. Mimosas flowed, Afro beats filled the air, and women in designer wigs clinked glasses over scrambled eggs and gossip. Nina arrived late, wearing a ring. Vanessa noticed first. Her smile tightened. "New ring, babes?" "Oh, this?" Nina held up her hand like it was no big deal. Michael proposed. Time paused. The girls gasped. Forks dropped. Even the waitress serving yam frittata stopped in her tracks. Vanessa laughed, but her eyes didn't. You mean my Mike? Nina's reply was surgical. He was never yours. And just like that, the friendship of 7 years collapsed into silence. Vanessa didn't cry. No, she posted a story. Some women wear rings. Some women own yachts. Know your level. But that night, for the first time in years, she turned off her phone. Nina and Michael's wedding came 2 months later. Intimate, classy, no cameras allowed. Vanessa wasn't invited. Instead, she watched from a distance, not physically, but digitally, quietly stalking the wedding planner's page, zooming in on cake flavors and flower choices like a ghost peering through a keyhole. She saw the way Michael smiled at Nina in every picture. It was genuine, the kind of joy he used to force with Vanessa. Oh, the betrayal wasn't just about love. It was the realization. While she was chasing status, others had chosen substance. And now the friend she once called a small girl with local taste had become Mrs. Okafor, a title Vanessa could never reclaim, even with all her designer bags. That night, she sat on her bed, surrounded by empty pizza boxes and fake friends in her group chat saying, "Na them luzo. You too fine, I beg." But her reflection in the mirror told another story. For the first time in her life, Vanessa felt replaceable, and life was just getting started. At 33, Vanessa decided she was done with Nigerian men. Too local, too clingy, too broke, she often said, swirling red wine in her champagne glass during spa hangouts with equally delusional socialites. Her new mantra? If I don't meet him in Dubai or London, I'm not meeting him at all. That's when she met Tony, or at least that's what his Instagram said, at Dubai_Dr_Tony. He slid into her DM after she posted a filtered selfie at Sky Bar in Lekki, captioned, "Queen of Soft Life. Don't talk if your passport doesn't speak." He replied, "Even your passport can't handle what I'd offer you, princess." He was smooth, sounded foreign, and the highlight? He claimed to be a Nigerian-born UK-trained surgeon working in Dubai with an Emirati residency and a side hustle in crypto investments. She was sold. Hook, line, and bikini pics. Their FaceTime calls always showed him wearing scrubs, a stethoscope dangling, always in a hospital corridor. He said he was too busy to talk long, but couldn't wait to make her his queen. 2 months in, he booked her a flight to Dubai with the $5,000 her convinced her to send, first class. He sent screenshots, itinerary, hotel confirmation for the Burj Al Arab. Even transferred her $2,000 for shopping before the trip. Vanessa told everyone, "Finally, someone in my league." She posted cryptic pre-trip captions. "Catch flights, not feelings, unless he's worth it. Dubai, prepare for royalty." On the day of the trip, she wore an emerald green tracksuit, Gucci sneakers, full frontal wig, nails done in gold dust tips. She vlogged her airport look, tagged #DubaiWifeLoading, and stepped onto the Emirates flight with her nose high enough to touch the stars. But when she landed, the nightmare began. No pickup, no driver, no Michael. She called, switched off. She messaged, blocked. Even the hotel reservation? Fake. The $2,000 return payment account doesn't exist. She sat in the Burj's lobby for hours, pretending to be waiting for someone important. But her face was pale under the makeup, her eyes darting like a lost child. What she didn't know was that back in Nigeria, a voice note had leaked. A friend she confided in had recorded her anguishing about it. "Dubai doctor scammed me." And now Twitter was on fire. Vanessa finally entered one chance. After rejecting suitors for years, Dubai Don scam him, karma wearing jalabaya. By the time she checked into a three-star hotel with her own money, Vanessa's story had made it to blogs. Soft life queen gets scammed by fake Dubai doctor, photos inside. And for the first time in her adult life, Vanessa didn't post a single thing for 72 hours because even Wi-Fi couldn't save her from reality. Vanessa returned from Dubai bruised but unbroken, at least on the surface. The laughter online had quieted, but her shame lingered like the smell of expired perfume. She needed a win, and she knew exactly where to get it. At Gemtech Holdings, where she worked as the executive assistant to the COO, Mr. Frank Campbell, Vanessa walked in like nothing had happened. Dressed in a blood-red dress and 6-inch heels, she sashayed past her colleagues, ignoring the smirks and whispers. She knew they had seen the blogs. But Vanessa had learned long ago, in a world where beauty fades, audacity lasts longer. Frank Campbell was 48, married, and the kind of man who signed documents without reading them, if his ego was stroked right. Vanessa had been subtly working him for months. Flirty laughs during meetings, leaning too close when showing reports, complimenting his ties. Now she activated full mode. It started with lunch, accidentally booked at the same restaurant. Then a business trip to Abuja she volunteered to attend. Then the real prize, a night at the Transcorp Hilton, where one drink turned into two. Then silence. Then the sound of secrets being made under silk sheets. By Monday, she was promoted to Special Projects Officer. No clear job description, just a desk closer to Frank's office and a salary bump that felt like revenge. Her group chat buzzed. "Girl, you're glowing. That Dubai trip changed your destiny for real." She smiled. Destiny? No. Strategy. For 6 months, Vanessa ruled the office. Women rolled their eyes. Men opened doors. Frank spoiled her with new phones, gifts from company vendors, and secret transfers labeled consultation. But corporate fantasies have a short shelf life. Frank's wife, Amaka, found out. A message meant for Vanessa, a sweet text with a photo of her in Frank's shirt, was mistakenly sent to Amaka. Within 48 hours, Amaka called the CEO. An emergency board meeting was held. An investigation followed. Vanessa was called in. There are allegations of professional misconduct, misuse of company funds, and inappropriate relationships, the HR manager said stiffly. Vanessa folded her arms, smirking. Allegations? Please. I do my job better than all the lazy women in that office. But Gemtech Holdings was cleaning up its image. And she had become too loud, too visible, too scandalous. Her termination letter arrived in her inbox before she even returned to her desk. Frank resigned quietly a week later. Vanessa tried to fight it, made a few calls, threatened to go public, but everyone had washed their hands. Even the blogs didn't bother to cover the drama this time. She wasn't newsworthy anymore, just another ex-beauty who flew too close to the spotlight. Now jobless, scandal-ridden, and with unpaid rent stacking fast, Vanessa realized something. The world she had built on looks and leverage was collapsing. And this time, no wig, no makeup, no flirty laugh could fix it. The hospital room smelt like dental and regret. Vanessa sat by her mother's bedside, the humming of the oxygen machine matching the flatness in her spirit. Her mother, once a vibrant woman known in Enugu as the Lioness of Ogige Market, now looked like a shadow, shrinking, gasping, fading. It had been 2 years since Vanessa had last visited. 2 full years. She had sent money occasionally, called on Christmas, forwarded photos of trips and filtered selfies from Dubai and Cape Town, but never came home. Not even when her mother had surgery. And now here she was, summoned not by love, but by death. Vanessa, her mother croaked, her voice like gravel. Sit down. I don't have time. Vanessa's throat tightened. She sat. I warned you. All those years. Suitors came. Good men. You said they weren't your type. Her mother coughed into a blood-stained cloth. You wanted soft life, abroad, designer bags. You mocked Nkechi when she married that tailor. Vanessa looked away. Now you're 42. No husband, no child, no job. What do you have? Her mother's eyes welled with tears. All that pride, all that stubbornness. Just look at you. I was trying to build my life, Mama, Vanessa said softly. You built a palace on sand, and now it's sinking. Silence, then. I won't die in peace, her mother whispered. You have disgraced me. You buried your womb in greed. Vanessa's heart shattered. Mama, please. I won't forgive you, her mother said, eyes locking with hers. Not until you forgive yourself. Not until you find purpose beyond your reflection. Her breathing quickened. The nurse ran in. Machines beeped. Vanessa backed into a corner, trembling as life slipped out of her mother's frail body. And just like that, she was gone. Vanessa collapsed on the floor, weeping like a child who had just realized love has an expiry date. The funeral was a quiet affair. No eulogies. No outpouring of love. Her siblings barely spoke to her. Old neighbors whispered, "That's her, the one who said no man was good. Enough." She tried to hold herself together. She wore a plain black gown. No wig, no makeup. Just grief and guilt. After the burial, she walked alone to her mother's old room. It smelled like old palm oil and tears. She opened a drawer. Inside was an old photo album, a bundle of unsent letters addressed to Vanessa, in a diary. The last page read, "She doesn't call me anymore, but I still pray for her. I want her to find peace. Even if she never becomes a wife or mother, I pray God shows her she is still worth something." Vanessa's hands shook. Even in anger, her mother had prayed. She closed the diary, tears rolling freely now. "I'm sorry, Mama. I'm sorry I thought I had time." The sun filtered gently through the curtains of Vanessa's room, casting golden lines across the polished tiles. She stood by her vanity, brushing her thick, natural hair, humming an old Asa song, one that used to mean something when love felt near. As she cleaned out her drawer that morning, she found them. The letters. Carefully folded, yellowing with age, tied together with a red ribbon, almost like relics from a time long buried. Vanessa stared at them, a strange ache rising in her chest. They smelled of ink, paper, and regrets. She sat on the edge of her bed and untied them. Dear Vanessa, I know I don't wear designer suits or have a Toyota Camry like the men you roll with, but my heart is rich with love. If only you'd give me a chance, I'll work my bones off to make you happy. Every day. I don't need millions. I just need you. Forever hopeful, your classmate, Sigun. Vanessa smiled faintly. Sigun. He was the quiet one in economics class. She remembered how he used to stare at her during lectures, always writing something in his notepad. So, he had feelings? She never even looked twice at him. Another letter. Vanessa, I don't know if you even remember me, but we met at church last Sunday. Your laughter is like medicine, and your presence, unforgettable. I sell phone accessories at Ogbete, and maybe I'm not your type, But I believe God brings people together for a reason. Here's my number. Call me if you ever feel like giving a humble man a chance. Sincerely, Ikenna. Vanessa blinked. Ikenna. She remembered now. He had given her his number folded in a small paper at the back of the church. She had rolled her eyes and said to her friend Amara, "Please, I didn't wear Fenty lipstick for a charger seller." Now, sitting alone in a quiet house, Vanessa suddenly felt like she owed Ikenna an apology. A third letter. This one had no name. Just initials. MC. You walk like a queen, Vanessa, but I wonder if you've ever known what it feels like to be treated like a queen. I watch you every morning as you pass by my tailoring shop, your heels tapping like music. I've made a promise to myself that if you ever look in my direction, I'll be bold enough to tell you that you deserve more than money. You deserve love that doesn't expire. MC. She clutched that one tighter. Her eyes welled. She never did look in his direction. She gathered all the letters into her lap and stared out the window at her compound, now unusually quiet. She remembered how her mother used to sit on that veranda, fanning herself with a newspaper, muttering, "Vanessa, ejikwa eziokwu, don't let pride block your blessing." At the time, Vanessa had laughed. Pride? She wasn't proud. She was selective. There was a difference. But now, as she read the words of men who had once seen her worthy of their hearts, men who now had wives, children, and photo albums full of memories, something inside her broke gently. One of the letters fell from her lap to the floor. She picked it up, noticing the corner was stained from the palm oil she'd spilled years ago when she used it to level her stool. She had no regard for it then. Now it felt priceless. She picked her phone and opened Facebook. Searched. Segun Adewale. His profile came up. Married, 2 daughters, owner of a tech startup in Abuja. A picture of him kissing his wife on her birthday stared back at her like a mirror of all the things she didn't choose. Next, she searched Ikenna Obi. Found. Married. Just returned from Dubai with his wife. Instagram bio. Husband. Father. God's grace. Hash from nothing to something. Vanessa's hands trembled as she placed the letters back into the drawer. Tears welled up in her eyes. The road to Nsukka hadn't changed much. Red sand still painted the edges of the highway, and local traders still sold roasted corn under dusty umbrellas. But Vanessa's heart thudded with a mixture of nostalgia and dread as the taxi approached Cedar Lane, where Ebuka's pharmacy stood. It had been over 12 years since she last saw him. The last time they spoke, she had laughed in his face. "You want to marry me?" "Yes, I do." "With your one-bedroom shop and your fake Italian shoes?" "Vanessa, love is not about—" "Oga Abeg, find your level." And just like that, he left. Quietly. Respectfully. No drama. No begging. He walked away with his dignity. She had expected him to return. They always did. But Ebuka never came back. Vanessa stepped out of the car and stared at the building in front of her. E&B Pharmacy Superstore. 3 floors, glass entrance, air-conditioned halls, clean white paint and bold green signage. A small crowd gathered around the entrance, some collecting prescriptions, others asking for recommendations. The gate man opened the glass door for her as she walked in. Inside, it felt like entering a mini hospital. Organized, professional, spotless. She approached the counter. "Good afternoon," she said softly. The pharmacist smiled. "Welcome, Ma. How may I help you?" She hesitated. "I'm looking for Ebuka. Ebuka Ume." The pharmacist tilted his head. "Oga Ebuka? One moment, please." He disappeared into a corridor. Vanessa adjusted her blouse, suddenly nervous. She hadn't expected to be this unsettled. And then she saw him. Ebuka emerged, taller than she remembered, dressed in a navy blue blazer over a white shirt. His skin glowed. He had a salt and pepper beard now, and a confident grace in his walk. He paused when he saw her. Vanessa? She smiled faintly. Abuka. He walked forward slowly. Wow, it's really you. You haven't aged much. She laughed awkwardly. Thank you. I try. What brings you here? You live in Enugu, right? She nodded. Yes, I was passing through and decided to stop by. I heard your pharmacy has become one of the biggest in Suka. He smiled humbly. By God's grace, yes. Business has been good. Silence. Then she asked, almost too casually, Are you married? He gave a small chuckle. Yes, 10 years now. My wife is a nurse. We met during a medical outreach in Makurdi. Vanessa forced a smile. That's lovely. And you? He asked. She opened her mouth, closed it, then shook her head. No, still waiting for the right one. Abuka's eyes flickered for a second. Ah, I see. More silence. So, she began again. Any regrets about the past? About people you wanted but didn't get? Abuka's gaze didn't flinch. I used to think about you sometimes, he said honestly. I even prayed for a second chance at one point. Vanessa's eyes lit up. Really? He nodded. Yes, but when I started healing, I realized something. I wasn't just heartbroken. I was humiliated. You made me feel like I wasn't worthy of even being heard. Vanessa blinked. Abu Kai was young. I didn't know better. He smiled gently. I know. That's why I forgave you. But some scars don't fade completely. She looked away, her throat dry. I came today because I wanted to say sorry, she murmured. I laughed at a man who wanted to build a future with me. Abuka nodded. Apology accepted. She looked at him again more earnestly. If things were different, if I was ready now, he interrupted gently. I love my wife, Vanessa. She stood by me when I had nothing. We built everything you see here together. I'm not a man who leaves home when home stood by him. That sentence hit like a slap. Not aggressive, just final. Vanessa felt a sting in her chest. She smiled, trying to keep her pride from shattering. You're a good man, Abuka. And you're still beautiful, Vanessa. But sometimes beauty is loud and love is quiet, and you chose noise when quiet would have carried you far. She nodded slowly, taking in every word. As she walked out of the pharmacy, her eyes caught a small photo frame beside the cashier. Abuka, his wife, and two children standing in front of a church building, all smiles. Her stomach churned. Outside, the sun was setting. She stood by the road, unsure whether to cry, scream, or just vanish. But all she could hear was her mother's voice from long ago. Vanessa, don't look down on a man because of today. Tomorrow has a way of humbling the proud. And today, tomorrow had arrived. As the sun set over Enugu Hills that night, Vanessa stood outside in her wrapper, barefoot, whispering a vow to the wind. I don't know who I am anymore, but I will not die like this. She tearfully wished she could turn back the hands of time and prays fervently for grace.